Pode começar.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. So, hello. And today, me and Felipe, we're gonna run this tutorial about how you're gonna build your first API with Django and Django Rest Framework.
Okay. Yes. Can you hear me well? Yes, great. So I want to make a fast research to understand what are your level on Django, Python, and DRF, okay? And I ask you, all of you, to raise your hands, like this. If you are a 5 at Python, keep your hands up. 5 out of 1 to 5. Okay. 5 is the best one. You are a core developer of Python. Okay, no one. Who's 4? Okay, good. 3. Okay, most of the people. 2. 1. Okay, good. Everyone is welcome, okay? Okay, now about Django. Who is a 5? A 4? A 3? A 2? A 1? Okay, all good. About Django Rest Framework. Who is a 5? A 4? A 3? A 2? A 1? Okay, all good. So now we have an understanding of the level of the room, and we can be more specific about what we're talking and about what we're not talking. Okay? Go on.
All right. So,
Can you move?
yes, please. I am Amanda Vieira. I am a developer and with more 10 years of experience. I love front-end, and front-end is my life, is what is my passion. And I am born in Porto Alegre, Rio Grande do Sul, that is the south of Brazil. And here I have my partner.
Yeah, you're gonna see me Felipe de Morais, but sometimes you're gonna see me being called as Python as well. That's because my involvement with the Python community in Brazil and here in the US as well. One very important thing, we are from Brazil. I put some Brazilian song for you at the beginning, and just to feel the vibe and get in the mood. I have 13 years of experience with software development. I am a Pythonist by heart. I'm from Rio, but actually I live in the south of Brazil, the place where Amanda was born, in Porto Alegre. All good? Let's move forward.
Nice. And we are both the partners and founders of AfroPython. That is a company, and the main objective of this company is to increase the number of black people in IT.
Yes, and as you can see, we like to take pictures, and we would like to take a picture with you. Is that good? Is there anyone that don't want to be in the picture? That's okay. No worries. Okay, so let's take a selfie. Can I get the whole room? Yes. Raise your hands if you want.
And maybe a little movie.
Okay.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! Okay.
All right, and just a little bit more about AfroPython. We started in 2017, and at this time, we already run workshops, meetups, and conferences in more than 6 states of Brazil. And in all that time, we have more than 2,450 people attendee in the conference and the workshops. So we are doing a lot of stuff in this time, this almost 7 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
One thing that's fun fact is that Amanda is using a T-shirt from the conference that we run every year in Brazil. That's called AfroPython Conf. Oh yeah, go on. Okay, we have some T-shirts for sale. We were deciding about the price. Amanda is smarter than me, so she chose 25. So we are accepting if you want to buy the t-shirts. That's here. We just brought 3 as samples, but tomorrow or another day of the conference, you can bring more. Tell me your size, and we're going to see if we can bring one for you. All good?
Yes, so let's start. All right, so today you're gonna do the Music Django app. And this will be just a software that you can save your favorite songs, your favorite albums, or artists, for example. And then in the future, you can use this in any front end you want. A website, a mobile device, for example. So it's just the API for all the music stuffs.
I have a question. Who here already knows what is an API? Raise your hand. Who doesn't know? Raise your hand as well. Okay. So the best knowledge that I can make is if you're in a restaurant and there is a waiter, the waiter gonna be your interface between you and your order. So that's the role that the API does. The API is gonna be the waiter. So whatever you ask for the waiter, he'll go to the kitchen and the person will try to get your order, but maybe you're not able to. So that's the role of the API. We're gonna ask, we're gonna say stuff through the API, and okay?
All right, so just for you know what we want today, the contents will be introduction and the overview. I'm gonna pass for Django models, mapping and views, serializers, and then here in the 5 we're gonna do the API itself, and have the Q&A and wrap up.
One expectation that I have was the level, what was the pace that each person. So my plan, 5 before the break. And when we get to this point, that's the 5, I'm gonna show you different ways to build APIs and endpoints and get your resources managed. But I also build a documentation that's a self-paced tutorial. So you're gonna be able to access the tutorial and gonna go on your own pace. So we don't have to enforce everyone to go on the same step, on the same phase of the tutorial. So this is gonna be more flexible. Go on.
All right.
Is that my turn? Okay. So the goal of the tutorial is through the story of building this music app, we're gonna show you concepts of Django and Django Rest Framework. And if we go to the previous slide, we were talking about levels, right? About Django, Python, and DRF. Especially the point 2 and the point 3 are Django specific, and point 4 and 5 are Django Rest Framework specific. The serializer concept, for example, doesn't exist with Django itself.
All right, and about the Django models. The models is just the single and is the source of the information about your data. So contains the essential fields for represents and behavior of what you are storing. And generally, each model maps to a single database app.
Yes, one example that we can use here is like, we're gonna have an artist, we're gonna have information that we wanna save about this artist. In our example, we're gonna just save the name. This will be our first model, and it will be simpler. And as we go further in the app and the API, we are going to get more complex. Okay, the URL mapping and the views. When we are in the website and you put the URL, something needs to respond so we can get the website back. In our case, This is very important because we can code a lot and do everything perfect. If we don't map the view that's gonna be responsible for give this answer and the URL, we're never gonna get these two parts connected. So this is gonna be important, and I usually like to go from the URL and go down so we can see what are the steps that you need. We're gonna see the errors as well, and we're gonna be able to see how we get it back all the way back. Me? Okay. The serializers are this, their responsibility is gonna be to translate from JSON to Python objects, from Python objects to JSON. Most of the APIs nowadays choose to use JSON as their way of communicate with the front end. That's especially easy for humans and easy for computers. There are different ways that DRF enable you to talk to your front end or your API to talk. We can use XML or different other ways, but 90% of what you're gonna see probably gonna be using JSON as well. And serializers are very good. They are very easy to understand and to map from text to code, from code to text. Ooh, we have a problem. Okay, do you want me to show the?
Yes.
Okay.
This is just about the browsable API. That is when you're gonna start creating the URL, we can see this in your browser. And the Django Rest Framework have this feature help us to see all all you need for using the.
Actually, we already showed a bit of it at this screen, browserable API from Django Rest. And that makes very easy to, how is your API, how is it going? It just make a website for you to manage your API. Let me show the.
See
Okay.
when do you.
Okay, this is a very important moment. On this QR code, your phone, or on the bit.ly URL, you're gonna access the tutorial that I built for this tutorial.
Everyone can see this? Everyone can see this?
Okay.
Right. Let us know when you are ready, and you could see the page. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Nice.
Sorry. Raise your hand if you're not done yet. Okay, everyone all set? Okay. This is the screen that we're gonna use later, not right now, so I should go back.
But right now, everyone have some question? Any question?
Okay.
All good?
I will show a bit how is the tutorial organized so you can follow. And let me show it here. Okay, so this is probably the view that you saw.
Maybe you can just turn for the light.
So here, just below, on the left side of the search, you can switch from light mode to dark mode. Use the one that you prefer. We have some information about this here. And this screen gonna be very important because here we're gonna understand this diagram. Because we're gonna understand how the data flows, and probably more than likely, we're gonna face problems, and me and Amanda, we're gonna walk in the room to help people with their issues. And sometimes if we see that's an issue that's affecting more people, we're gonna show it here. So this way you can go through the tutorial and set up it by yourself. It has at the very beginning, where is it? 1 second. Okay, this is the GitHub repository. And if we go here, first you need to have internet. PyCon US 24. Thank you. Magic. Let's go. It's connecting. Okay. Okay, so this is the repository, and this is gonna start like this. Let me give a step back. Who here knows how to create a virtual environment? Okay. Who doesn't know? Raise your hand. Okay. In order to be able to run this tutorial, we're gonna need to create a virtual environment. I can show it here like pretty fast, but let's start from the scratch. So I would go here. I need to clone this repository, and I am assuming that yes. If we go here back to the tutorial that you accessed, there is a point called set up the project, and below you have the git clone and the command to clone the repository. This is what I'm about to do. Permission denied. Okay. Okay. That's probably an issue related to how is your GitHub account set up, and I can help you fix it. Okay. Everyone have permission denied errors? Sorry, can you repeat that? Okay. Right. Let me check. If I go here and compare with what we have here, okay, who was able to clone the repository? Okay. Yes, okay, I'll show that part. So here, there is a few options and ways to clone the repository. I used the SSH key because my GitHub account has a public and a secret key already set. But if you don't have it, you're gonna get this error, access denied. A suggestion from what's your name? Ashish. Okay, from Ashish is that we can use the HTTPS. So I'm gonna use this one. And I usually don't use that, but let's try. I'll create a new, let's make it bigger. I'll leave this. I'll create a new folder called new tutorial. I'll just clone it here. But we're not, eles não estão conseguindo clonar porque eles não têm a chave setada, mas eles não precisam ver o repositório. Okay, I'm doing something wrong here. Not this one. 1 second. There is another option that's just download the zip. If you come here, you download the zip, it's gonna appear here on your downloads folder, and you click twice if you're on a Mac. Where is it? It's gonna be here, and all your code's gonna be here. Yes? I'll put it in the presentation so we all can be on the same page. But this one, right? Is it visible? Okay. Not great, but ok. Computador? Aqui tem assim, eu acho. Ok. Who is still not able to download in any form the GitHub repository? Is everyone set with the GitHub repository? Okay, that's great. Who used the SSH key to clone the repository? Raise your hand. Okay. Who used the zip file? Okay, that's good. Who used the HTTPS? Okay, most of the folks. That's good to know. Okay. The next steps I was about to show was between the step where you clone and recreate the app, there is a missing step that is to create the virtual environment. I expect you to have Python installed in your, is it? Okay, now it's big enough. So I expect to have Python installed on your machine. It doesn't really matter which version of Python is, but it's important that it's Python 3, because Python 3 has this. So I can use Python.m for module, and venv, that's the module that I want to use. And I can come here and create my underscore venv. Then the venv, or virtual environment, is something that is used to isolate all the dependencies of the project, so it doesn't mix with dependencies of other projects. So you put it here. You can, oh, that's important. 1 second. Okay, you can go inside the repository. I have a repository here, like build, that's for this tutorial. I could come here, and here I could create this virtual environment. That's gonna be a folder on your local environment. And this should create your virtual environment. So if you just press enter, you're gonna see now, let's use 3 for it. Not too deep, let's use ls. So now we're gonna have this virtual environment folder here, and we need to activate the virtual environment. So we're gonna use source my env. Oops. 2.7. I have a suggestion. Sometimes when we just type Python, it shows Python 2 point something. Try to use Python 3 -- version and check what comes out. 1 second. .9. So instead of just type Python, I always type Python 3, so you're gonna be on Python 3. Yes, sir?
When using 3.9, I'm trying to install the requirements file, but I'm unable to.
Okay, what is your error?
It says some of the packages need 3.10.
Oh, okay, got you. I'm using.
Maybe I can uninstall everything from this version
Okay.
environment.
I have a suggestion for you. I'm gonna show it there so everyone can follow. Which is the version of Python that is requiring?
3.10. I'm using 3.9.
Okay. Okay, I'll make a request. And can you let me know which version of Python 3 are you using? So who is using the 3.13, 3.12? Okay, a lot of people. 3.11, 3.9. Wait. Yeah. Okay, let's go again. 3.10, 3.9. Okay, I'm using the most recent version of Django. That's the Django version 5. So if you are using a version of Python that's before it, I will recommend you to open your code editor, come to the requirements.txt. Here you're gonna find Django. Here you can see Django. And you can put it here. I'm gonna try it live, so maybe it doesn't work. Let's see. Django 4. And I'm also using the most recent version of Django Rest Framework that relies on Django. So I would go with 13 here. So for Django, just put 4, and it gets the most updated version of Django 4. And for Django Rest Framework, 13. Yes? Light? Okay, yes. 10. I believe that would be better if I go presentation mode. Okay. Is it good? Okay. The file, there are two ways to get there. If you have this tab open here, you're gonna have this file here called requirements.txt. This is where all dependencies of this project are described, and you're gonna change on line 25 from Django 5 to 4, and from Django from version 3.15 from Django Rest Framework to 3.13. I will try it here as well, so we can see how does it play along. So one thing that I didn't show was how to activate the virtual environment. It's using source, the name of the folder, bin, activate. Okay, so now I have the virtual environment activated, and I can use pip install dash R requirements dot txt. This is going to install all of the dependencies that I need to go through this tutorial, okay? Let's see if it's gonna work. It's downloading the version 4 of Django. Okay, looks good. And that's what was necessary to have everything installed.
What are the changes to the requirements for like I understand?
Yes. Okay, on the remove everything until the 5.
Okay.
So replace the 5 by 4.
4.
Okay. On the Django Rest Framework, instead of 13, sorry, instead of 15,
Oops.
3.13.
Like this?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Okay. Just put 3.13 because the pip gonna find the most updated version of 3.13 something. No. Can you put up? Yes. So you're gonna use pip install dash R requirements. That's the name of the file where all the dependencies lives. Okay. Let's try. I can try something different. Muito ruim de ver. I was considering to use the terminal inside the PyCharm, but even worse to see. Okay. I will walk around and see if who needs help. Yes.
I think I created the environment, but when I try to access it, it says permission denied. I don't know if I did it correctly.
Can I permission denied? Okay. Before, can you put up on your arrow on the arrow here? Yeah. Before you, at the very beginning of this line, you need to put source, the word source,
Anyone
Space.
else needs more help?
enter.
Oh.
Okay, now that's activated.
Okay, great.
Was there a version that you had us change somewhere?
The version
'Cause I
of?
was able to install everything, but did
Yes.
you change something to 3.1?
Yeah, for people that were using Python 3.9, they had an issue with the most recent version of Django. Ashish, right? Okay.
Yeah, I'm getting this, like, when I tried to do the managed API. I don't know if you want to help with this or you want to wait till everybody else is caught up to this point.
Yes. No, you can go. It's gonna work self-paced. Music conflicts with the name of an existing module. Cannot.
Yeah, when I Googled it, it's like your project and app need to have different names.
Okay. But can you go back? Can you show the files that you have on the project? Okay.
So I'm in first API right now.
Okay. Can you show me the
all of them and I got it going.
show me the branch that you are? Git branch or git status?
Okay, you got the same.
My. Open here the music folder. Yes. okay. I know what's going on. Yeah, that's a mistake of mine because the
Okay. Try that. Thank you.
app called Music is already created. So it's already, if you go further after this step, it should be
Oh,
good.
okay. Just continue after this.
Yeah, because
ignore-
it's already
ignore that
created.
part.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you. I'll try to update it live. Let's see if I can make it. Yeah, yeah.
Eu não sei se vocês estão usando Conda.
Conda? Uhum. Okay, vamos ver. Are you using Conda?
Both arms.
You too? Okay. Can I see the others?
No, the Conda didn't have the main thing, so I've been doing it the other way.
Okay.
So I created so
What is the error?
It's just quick find 4 packages, but you can
4
pick
packages.
from
Okay.
Conda, but you can pip install once you've activated the Conda.
Okay.
So when you
here.
Oh, okay. I was not thinking of Conda environments. Thank you.
My underscore bin. So and now and then something about source. I don't know what's happened after source.
Yes?
Yeah. How do you do that?
Source.
Yeah.
What's the name of the folder of your
This-
virtual environment?
This.
Okay.
It should be this one, right?
My, yes, env.
Yeah. That's it.
One
Do I need to do anything
second.
else? Because
Yes.
that's
Slash,
slash
bin,
there's no bin here.
bin. Why?
Are you sure? Okay. Okay.
Uh,
Bin
If you press tab, what happens?
slash tab.
Yes. Usually it
Nothing.
auto-completes.
Nothing.
How did you create the virtual environment? Oh, you are on Windows.
No. No.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No, there's no. This.
Le-
You see, if I go inside the my underscore bin, no. So I only see these files. I only see these files.
Scripts.
Oh,
It's inside the
Google
script.
script.
Yeah, because on. Oh.
How to Google? How
No,
to
no, 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 no. You use source,
Yeah.
type source,
Source.
space myenv.
Space my in. Okay, that's fine.
No, no, you need the underscore.
Oh,
It's the name of the
underscore as well.
folder.
Okay,
Yes.
underscore, and then what do I do?
Slash
Slash
scripts
script.
with capital S. Yes.
Yes.
Tab. Use the tab. See if it completes now. Yes.
Okay, and then that's it.
Enter.
Enter.
What?
Source is not recognized.
Instead of source, put it. Yes. Instead of source, use just dot.
Just that.
Dot.
Okay, is there a space out?
No, no, no. At the very beginning.
Okay, dot. Is this correct? Is this what you want? The
Yes.
dot?
Yes.
Okay.
No, 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 no. A bit up. Remove the first backslash.
Remove the first background. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, go.
And then press enter. No, it doesn't work either.
Okay, let me make a small research. But what you need is how to activate
Oh, run.
the virtual.
Oh, but it cannot be loaded because running script is disabled on this system.
Oh. Is it CMD or is partial?
Hmm?
Is it partial or
Partial? What do you mean
yes?
partial?
There's two possibilities of command line at Windows. One is CMD.
Yeah.
The other one is partial. Oh, here it says partial.
Yeah, partial. Yeah.
Let me find it. I will make a small research.
Okay. Thank you
Mhm, 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 mhm.
I'm having name conflict when I'm trying to create the
so much. It already exists.
right, right, but
Just use it.
Yeah, you don't need to create again because you already exist.
but I think that's already in the gateway code, right? Okay. So that okay, so
these steps are in
gotcha.
the app is already in repo. All the steps are
That, so if those doesn't exist, I run this, I will generate the same file.
Yes.
I got this video from your QR code.
Hmm.
I try to open the requirements now. Only has 14 lines, you know.
But why this one? You couldn't find the.
This is requirement.
Mm-hmm. But did you see the repository of that Felipe just showed for us?
Is there a file called activate.ps1?
Let's see here.
My
And then
Vim.
try to find Felipe Morais.
Yeah, let's see what's
Just
script. Oh yeah,
we
there
can
is.
Yeah,
just
use that. Let's see if it works.
Okay.
and we can go here.
So I just do. So I do. What's the
Scripts.
script? Oh no, I can't.
I don't, yeah.
Yes, it needs
My
to be
scripts.
try. We can open this one.
Um,
Try to
Activate.
see the user.
Use tab to autocomplete.
And then
the tab. Nope, not
let's
the first one.
click
Second
here.
PS.
One. Yes.
Repositories.
Yes.
Okay, so
And
what,
then
what
this
about
is
the
the
dot?
Uh,
What is the dot?
Yeah.
try with the dot. If it
This
doesn't
one
work,
that
we
you are
remove it.
using.
Okay. No, it doesn't work with the dot.
Okay.
Are the scripts here?
No, just
Okay.
remove the first backslash
Yeah.
and the dot.
Okay, then remove the dot. Okay.
Let's
So remove the dot as well.
Is this a work
Yeah.
laptop? It looks like the machine is actually locked.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Run scripts on the system.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So you
Let's
can
try
go
another
for another.
option
Add
here. Oh,
directory.
you're using the mouse.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then doing
Get
all
back.
this
Just
shit again.
do PowerShell.
Try to get
Clone
bash.
the
Okay. Okay, then
repository,
to get back.
change the
Okay, then that's fine.
requirements, and then try to
Bash. Okay.
Okay.
What do I do?
Get to the same folder.
Oh, yeah. So then the CD
So that-
building,
yeah.
building,
This is right.
and I just do tab.
Yes. Okay, good.
Because I used
And
QR
I do
code and I got.
CD and then
Yeah.
First API.
my
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
my thing. Yeah.
Okay.
LS and then
I can go scripts.
And what's the name?
Okay, you can go in.
And
Okay.
then now I'm just going to do this file which is
Yeah.
Activate.
dot ps1.
Exactly.
Oh,
Okay. there-
what's the syntax error?
Let me
New
try another one.
New line.
Activate dot
Bin.
bat.
Yes. In the file.
I usually see people using bat. Okay.
Okay, so
Pip. List. Oops. Oops. Okay, you are in.
oh really?
Yes.
Okay, what did you just do? A little.
I use it activate.bat
Okay.
instead of PS1,
Okay.
and let's just to assure
And
that
then
we are
the
right.
Okay.
To leave the virtual environment,
And
need to
this
type
one,
deactivate.
Okay. No.
No.
Command not found. Do you need dot bat as well?
13.
Deactivate dot bat.
It looks like that it worked.
Yes, perfect.
Let's try to run the pip install command.
And then
Install. Oh no, you need to cd back to. Yes.
Which direction?
One more time.
Okay. What
Okay.
do I need to do?
Now you need to pip space install -r
Dash R?
space requirements. You can use tab to autocomplete. Use tab to autocomplete. Yes.
Percentage?
Yes. You should try to install all the dependencies.
Okay. Then I'm all set. After that. Wow. Install
Yes.
a lot of stuff.
Yes.
Okay. Package will is not
So
installed.
if you're done with the setup, we can just go on in this tutorial that you have all the explanation, and then when we finish the setup, you can go back here. Come back here.
Is it successful? Could not install packages due to.
Maybe you can run as administrator. So,
How do I run as administrator?
okay, just open command prompt. If it's install command, the last thing we needed to do.
Ashish.
Let me just show here. Slash R and environment dot. Hmm?
That's the last thing I did. Is that good?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
But there's an error that I found. Tem problema. Because this app is already here in the repository. If you go here, and it's going to be already here. And when you try to create, it's already created. If you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. Okay, I need to get your attention because I just found an error that Ashish helped me to find. And on this step, when you try to create the app is already created. So if we go here at the repository, let's go from the start. You go on the first API folder. You're gonna already see the music app here. So on this step, you can just skip, okay? Because the app is already created. Everyone understand what's a app on Django? Okay, so Django separates the application by small pieces that we call app. So let's say that in our API, you're gonna have one part that will be about music, and another part that's going to be about cars. You want it to be separated. So we could put it one Django app for music, as we're doing this tutorial, and we could create a second app just for cars. The idea is that these two apps could be used in other places or other projects. And let's say that you are going to be very rich and you're going to build Spotify. You could use your music app on your Spotify application to be able to reuse this piece of code. Is that cool? Okay.
So if you were going to have, you're developing a bunch of endpoints for your API, an app would be like a collection of endpoints under a single base path?
More than a collection of endpoints. We can be a collection of endpoints, but we can be also a collection of different resources and a collection of different serializers. Let's say that some people will be able to create, other people will just be able to see. So we could use different serializer, or in DRF case, we could use different authorizations to differentiate this two authorizations. All good? Yes?
So there's both first API and music in the repository that we downloaded.
Yes.
So we don't need to run manage.py at this point because they're already created. Is that's the idea? Okay, good. Thank you.
No, you don't need to override. Yes, you can just skip this zone.
Vou esse microfone aqui que não dá pra tirar. assim.
Eles confirmaram que eles realmente estão vendo, só porque todos eles estão vendo. Tipo, de colocar e não passar eles estão nesse lugar.
Deixa eu verificar uma coisa. Story here. Então,
Só apontei pra cá. Perguntar se eles entenderam essa coisa aqui, que só pra gente não ficar nisso. E depois passar pro models,
acho que eu vou deixar eles seguirem e aí ver como é que eles ficam. I walk around see if anyone needs help. Do you need any help here? Do you need any help? Okay.
Somehow I pulled in Django Rest Framework.
What is
Yes, that's right.
I pulled in different things and
It already has a grid clone. You can use Control A to go to the very beginning of the line.
yeah, I'm almost there.
No. Okay. Notebook?
How are we supposed to run this code? You want us to create our, is this one of the files that's in there? Or
Yeah, this is one of the files that's already in there.
which one?
If you go inside first API,
Okay. Oh, okay.
you're gonna see the settings file,
Okay.
and you expect that your music app is listed. Go a bit below. Oh no, it's still below. Yes, here. So expect to see your music app registered in Django settings. So now Django knows that you created this app, and it's gonna take into consideration. Okay?
So I should run this?
Alright.
No, you don't have to run anything in this file. You just need you can just follow the tutorial. So probably you need to check what's the next step.
Yeah, everything's okay now.
Okay, good.
So we just we open the CMP. Yeah.
Okay.
Just run the commands and everything's good.
Okay, good.
Uma outra questão que você não falou é que aqui não deveria ser dot dot, porque ele não sabia muito desse particular.
Não. Porque a estrutura do projeto tá assim. Né? Tá aqui. Aí tu entra no first API. Aí vai ter um manage.py. Então é um dot só.
Mas ele vai estar nesse espaço aqui, vai estar dentro do Fortify.
Vai dar desse aqui.
Será que estão clear?
Acho que vai.
Porque tu tem que entrar no Fortify e aqui não está muito nítido se é o primeiro ou se é o segundo. Então talvez a pessoa está no segundo Fortify.
Ele não vai encontrar o arquivo.
Daí não vai encontrar o arquivo.
Não. Yes? We have two computers.
Just screen. You actually don't have to migrate the initial Django app, so we never get the session table.
Mm-hmm.
So the session table to run, we only have to migrate the music app here.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So we need to do a full migration before that
Mm-hmm.
one level up,
Yeah,
so that you get.
Which way over here?
just migrate.
So how is it?
Okay, I'll update that.
Just that?
1 second.
Is it the one coming here? I'm sorry. Yeah.
What's your name?
You saw it- you
Brian.
saw it from that? Okay. So I
Let's
have-
go ahead, go again here, alright.
Yep. No, I'm sorry, it's the wrong music folder.
Okay. Alright, let's see. É só uma questão, né?
Tá, mas vou precisar explicar uma coisa que está errada.
Quando não é só uma questão aqui. Que essa parte aqui. Ele está comentando, né, no código.
Mais pra frente. Agora não.
Mas nesse momento não aparece aqui, então parece que vai ser aumentado.
Hum.
Isso. Vou ter que falar sobre isso também.
Fala aí.
Tá aí com o microfone.
One point. On this step here, when you're gonna see the first part of the first moment that you're gonna see the urls.py, this piece of this line here, on the actual code, this is commented like this. So you can just uncomment it here and remove the rest, and you're gonna have something similar to this one. Okay? So you're gonna be able to see the first API. But before you okay, until here it'll be okay. But at 1 second. At this point, instead of just make migrations, music, and migrate music, you can just remove the music here, because there are other stuff that Django gonna need and needs to get migrated as well. So I will update it here, but I just would like you to know that if you already got to this point, you just don't put music at the end of the command, and you're gonna be fine. Okay?
Understood?
Before that,
So we can just update and
the name of the file is sorry, not this one, the other one. The yes, it was the music /urls.py.
You already imported this.
So changing it, what could be that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, what's your name? What's your Zenia. Okay, I said you something wrong to you. So the file that is commented is this one, and the name of the file is first API /urls.py, not the one that I just showed you. Is this one here? Yes.
Because we are not using this right now. So this first one we can uncomment and use.
Yes.
I just run these two, so I should just be able to run task R on the command line?
Yes.
Oh, but the
What has to
folder back.
define the URL?
Yes, the folder back.
All this
CD
has is just
space.
define the URL
Back
patterns.
now.
Task
Right
R.
now we just need this
No, no,
one.
maybe it's
No,
not,
no,
it's
no,
not,
no
it's not
dash.
using this.
Ah,
Just
the
no
helper.
dash,
Okay.
Just R.
to run.
Okay.
And then you can
Look like you have something. Click on this link.
because the version.
Control and click.
Okay.
Press
No,
Control and click. Does it work?
All right.
Oh, just copy. So
This is,
no, no, the URL, the URL.
Oh, this you. Oh,
Maybe
so
yeah.
just because we are not
I see what you
using.
mean. Oh, there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
yeah.
Nice job.
That was it.
All right. Thank you.
Oh,
Alright.
everything. Okay.
Okay.
Click on this. See what's
Oh, so-
happening.
Oh, good. All right.
Wait,
Are there
wait.
some artists in here?
You can add one.
Oh, I can add one. All right.
Are you an artist?
Well,
Yeah.
No, you need to fill the name. No.
I'm on SoundCloud, but I don't know.
The data is already is local, so there is a
Oh, I see.
database. If you, which tool are you using to code? Which editor are you using?
Oh, at this point, well, I'm
Sublime. Okay.
Sublime.
Can you show the files on the project?
Okay. Yeah. Actually, I have to go back.
Okay. Okay. So
Should I go into first API?
yes,
Okay.
this db.sqli3.
Oh,
This
okay.
is your database.
Oh, okay.
It's a local one, just in a file.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
So if you help me, so basically what happened was that we changed the music and then so also about that we went to the
URL start page.
we just
Mm-hmm. What happened?
So there is a path issue. So like you need to update the path in urls.py of the music folder. We just updated.
What do you mean by update the part?
Path.
Oh, the path. Okay, gotcha.
so we changed the path.
This
Okay.
So here
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
previously was this one was not commented and this one was commented.
Okay,
So we just switched the order
Okay.
and then everything worked as well.
perfect. One second. He asked it first. I'll go back here. Sheesh, can I pass? Yes. Mm-hmm. So if you go to your, let's go to your views here. Views.py. Oh, it has everything implemented. That was not supposed to be like this. Yes, because it's everything already implemented.
Right, so it's all the work already done.
It's already done.
Yeah, okay.
Let me check this. One second.
I see that. That's the end product. That was supposed to be the end product. That screen.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
You know what I'm saying? That this is supposed to be the end product, is that it? Or?
Yeah, that's the end product.
I see, okay.
Sorry. Yes?
So I just wanted to comment. So I actually created a music too because I wanted to try and actually do everything. And so in this, I'm assuming I need to make this music2.urls, right?
Yes, yes, because that's the fuller name.
Perfect,
Yes,
thank you.
perfect.
Sorry. Por alguma razão não está conseguindo encontrar o arquivo de server.
Arquivo de server.
We're not sure which folder do I need to run this task.
Okay.
Where do I need to be to run?
Can you go to your terminal? Run ls. one level up. If you do cd space there, yes, task R. Okay, there is an issue. You need to run it's missing the artist ViewSet in the music.views file.
Is that what we just commented?
Yes.
We just commented.
Okay, let me check one thing. Qual?
Aquele de ignorar aquela task, a task do Activate. Já tem o file lá.
Não entendi.
Tá fácil?
Eu vou fazer essa mudança aqui, tá? Uhum.
Então, isso aí.
Tá, entendi. Por agora eu vou só remover. Tem algum problema que eles estão pegando a versão completa. Meu filho, tá tudo feito. Uhum. Criar uma segunda app. Criar uma segunda app e fazer como se fosse uma nova. Criar uma segunda app e fazer como se fosse uma nova. É isso a sugestão ou não?
Não, pode ser, mas eu ia, tipo, tentar mudar, tipo, dar um checkout em tudo e ir pra frente ficar pronto. E daí tu vai mostrando as coisas pra eles. E aí dá o exercício, ó, agora a gente vai criar uma nova URL. E aí vocês têm esses exemplos aqui, ele tá funcionando, vocês conseguem ver.
O que seria essa nova URL? O que seria essa nova URL?
Os três já estão prontos.
Já.
Artista, álbuns. Artista, esses sources.
Mas é mais complicado porque você tem que guardar o arquivo.
Biografia. Texto.
Acho que eu vou fazer a segunda app. Igual a música. Só que. Caraca, por que não funcionou o negócio? Peraí.
É porque pra eles chegarem na versão que eles queriam, vai ser mais complicado.
As três? Tá. Ok.
Explain the difference between routers and viewsets to me in a way that makes sense. Like I know that like the base name doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It says it's defined by the query set, but what part of the query set is it defined by? That's where this stuff is easy, but this is the stuff I want to figure out.
Okay. That's part of the deep dive, but I can show you. What is the difference between routers and viewsets? Okay, I will give an overview because I realized that I made a mistake about the code is completely already done. That's the final product, and I'm gonna show and ask you people to use your idea of create a second app and go from the scratch. Okay, give me a second. If you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. Okay, so I realized that I didn't reset the repository for you to get the raw version. And what you get when you download and you start to set up is the final version of the code. So I will go through the code, explain what I have done, why I have done, and after the break, I will ask you to use an idea that Brian gave me, that is create a second app and do all the steps, and you can use the complete code as a reference if you get stuck or if you have any problem. Okay? Let's go from the beginning. We start with the point to create the app. And here we have the music app, and there is a lot of files. This is the structure that Django already provides us. So we have an admin, an apps, models, serializers. This is something that you need to create because Django doesn't provide by itself. So you need to create the serializers.py usually. There is a tests.py, the URLs, and the views. Usually, I recommend in the tutorial to start from the URLs, but there is two files that are called URLs. There is one here inside the first API folder, and there is one inside music/urls.py. This is the master one because it's the original that was created for the very beginning of the project. If we go here, we're gonna see that the music URLs are included here. So all the URLs that you create on this file here are gonna be included in the master urls.py. This is the point that I said because it's already completely implemented. So in the beginning of the course of the tutorial, you would get something like this, where you have the first version of your API. But we can go to this later. One question that Brian made for me is, what is the difference between a router and a Viewset? The router is deeply connected to the URLs. So the router gonna create URLs for artists, albums, and songs. So I'm gonna have the artist /1, for example, for the first artist. Or I would be able to use the HTTP to delete the artist. Okay, and the difference between the router and the Viewset is that the router is specifically to create the URLs and connect to a set of views. That's why we call it Viewsets. So here, let's go for the album that's going to be more explicit. On the album Viewset, we detail how we're gonna deal with a few scenarios. The first one is the list. The second one is the create, the retrieve, the update, and the partial update, and the destroy. So the responsibility of the Viewset is to tell your code how to handle these scenarios, each of them. For the artist Viewset, we use the model Viewset. That's gonna take a look at what is your model, and it's going to, based it on what Django already provides, create all these methods that we made manually for album here. Is that clear? So when I use model ViewSet, it creates all of this for me. When I use just ViewSet, I need to do it by myself. Is that clear? Yes? Okay. When we can use CRUD, like create, read, update, and delete, that's great for model ViewSet. And most of the time, we want to rely on what Django Rest Framework already gives us, so we can go a bit faster. The very first endpoint is super fast. The second one is a bit harder, and it can get harder and harder and less support from Django Rest Framework. So most of the time, we're gonna try with the model ViewSet. If it doesn't fit what you need, you're gonna go with less support, but more customizable. Brian?
Follow up to that, like there's a view set that provides all these methods for you, but what about this generic view, like an API list view, or an API create view? It's not a view set, it's just an individual class.
Mm-hmm.
So when would you use a view set over those individual classes?
Okay, that's a bit deeper. If we go in the view set, we're gonna have the view set mixing. That's here, we're gonna have the API view. And if we go here, let me go a bit back. If we go to the model view set, it is based on these mixings. Mixings are a class that we inherit to be able to do a few things. And these ones are specific for each of the methods that are manually implemented on the other part. So the generic view set is just the very base of what you need for a view set. And on top of this, you can use the mixings to, for example, create a view set that just have the create. So you would do something like this. So instead of view set, you would use a generic view set plus a mixings dot list this model mixing. You will need to import it, not this one. But I will not import it right now because I don't remember it by heart. But this would be something like this. So you would get the basic version plus the list model mixing. So we would have to implement just the list for this view set, and all the rest would be not necessary. And this is what I said. What's the name of our friend there? What's your name? Ben. That is something that we could use in the scenario that Ben said. Let's say that I just need a view set with the list. I could do it like this, instead of have to implement all the methods. I will go back here. And after we have the view set implemented, we can go to the serializer, but the query set gonna tell when we list all the objects in this view set what it would list. So let's say that I have some soft delete. I want to remove to make it not available for my customers, but I want to still have it on my database. So I would have something like soft deleted false. So these would be the ones that would not be soft deleted. And when I list, it will just bring these ones. For the serializer, I can come here. This will be responsible for translate from one side to another. The album serializer is a bit more complex because it depends on the artist serializer. So if we go here to the artist serializer, we are using the hyperlinked model serializer that does almost everything for us. And we can see that on the album, we are using the plain serializer, and we need to implement the create by ourselves and the update as well. And similar to the previous scenario, when we rely more on DRF, we can be faster, but it's less customizable. This is very good for crude scenarios, but you need to be more specific. You may need to go back to the plain serializer and define all your fields like this. Here, I didn't have to do that. With the serializer in place, we would go to the model itself, and here is what we have as our models. So each of these models gonna represent something in our domain. For the tutorial, we have the artist, the album, and the song. The artist is simpler, the album is a bit more complex, and the song is even more complex because it relies on the artist and in the album. But as you can see at the end of the tutorial, you can use the hyperlinked model serializer and the model ViewSet to be able to implement it in a very simple way. Just like we did with the artists that were the simpler one. And I will stop here. I will let you go to the break, and after the break I can take more questions, okay? If you can hear me, clap twice. Okay, all good. So I will completely change the approach because I saw that it was not working as I was expecting. So I will start everything from the scratch and ask you to follow me, and that's gonna be better. My original plan was to use this version here of the project where I put the tag 00, and I will help you download this version, and we're gonna start from the scratch, okay? So if you go to the repository, there is a branch that you can use that's called the branch 0.0. That was supposed to be the initial point of the tutorial, and that's why there was a few problems in the process. And in this scenario, for example, the music app's not here. So we would be able to start from the scratch. Let's go here. On the repository that you already have, you can, okay. I will ask you to stash all your changes. So you're gonna use git stash. It's gonna kind of hide all the changes that you have done so far. And you can put dot to hide everything. And we're gonna use this to put this change aside, and we're gonna go to the supposed to be used version of it, and we're gonna start from the scratch, okay? So I will use git stash here. Bro, I did something wrong. Git stash, okay, just git stash, that's it. No dot at the end. Yeah, the command I used was git stash. All good? It's gonna hide all the change that you have already done because you're gonna start from the scratch. Just for you to know, if you use git stash, I believe it's list, it's gonna show here all the change. If you want to recover this change, you can use git stash pop, and it's gonna get your change back, okay? So for now, just git stash, so we can move on. So git checkout, O 0.0. And this is the branch that we're gonna use to start from the scratch, okay? I will check out to this branch, to this tag. Okay, I switch it. And now let's look, let's wait a bit first. You don't have to, oh wait, depend on how you downloaded the project. Did you use the zip file?
No, I used the HTTP.
Okay, so that should be good. If what happens when you try to? Yeah, but that's not exactly a branch. What happens if you do git tags? Oh, sorry, tag. Do you see one tag? Okay, so you can check out to this tag. Okay. Okay. Okay, so at this version, we don't have most of the things that we had already. Let's just check if we have any change. Okay. I will just delete the folder called music, so we can start from the scratch. And I will check the settings file. Sorry. Yeah, the food was very good. Okay, are we on the same page? Good. So we're gonna start from that point that I remove it from the tutorial. And let's see here. Okay, we're gonna use the command start app to create this structure here. Okay, so I'm gonna use the CD to go inside the first API folder. So I'm pwd to show where I am. I'm here on the project folder. I will go inside the first API. Okay, these are the files that I have, and I have a second folder called first API as well. That's a pattern that Django does when it creates a new project. And I will use /manage.py start app, and I'll create the app music. I need to type it right. Okay, so when I run this, if I have no message, it usually means that it succeeded. So if I come here, now I have another music folder, and now I have all these files. So they need the folder migration, the admin, the apps, the models, the tests, and the views. If we go back to the tutorial, we need to add the music app to the installed apps inside my settings.py. The settings.py lives inside the first API folder. So this is gonna be here. I have a settings.py. I have here my installed apps, and I will have the music app here. Don't forget to add the comma. That's usually important. Okay. Let's go back to the tutorial. We're gonna have 3 models. The very first one gonna be the artist model, and usually I put this line here at the top to indicate which is the file that we need to change, and sometimes you need to create the file. So I'm gonna copy just the artist model, and I'm gonna go to my models.py. It's gonna be empty for now, but I'll place here my artist model. Good? Okay. So don't forget to import the models. So it's imported here in the first line. If I don't, it's gonna show that it cannot find the models. So I will put it back and gonna be okay. A second model, that is the album model. We're gonna create all the models right now, so okay. One recommendation that Django usually, actually Python gives us, is that between the beginning of your code and the imports, you should have 2 lines of separation, and between classes as well. So if I put it here and try to format, it adds 1 more line for me. Sim, mas ainda não. Aqui a gente vai ver o erro e a gente vai arrumar. Okay, so we're gonna add the third. So we're gonna add the third model. Yes, let's go. That's the song 1. Okay, now we have our models. We are good, and we're gonna try to see. Oh, we need to include the music URLs in the main urls.py. That's the one inside the first API, and we will be able to start to see our things getting live. So we're gonna go back, go to urls.py, and here I will add this line. But this function here is not imported yet, so let me check here. I need to add this part, so I'll be good to go. Okay, so my music.urls from, where is it here? Okay, it's not in here, so we can just create it. You're gonna come create a new file. You can see that's a Python file, but there's something strange here. Maybe I'm missing something. Let's see. Yes, no, I was not missing. So I need to create the urls.py, and in here I will add this. inside the urls.py. Inside the music folder, I put all this code. This should be enough for us to try to see the first version of the API with a very, very simple version of it. Let's go back. In our views.py, we're gonna try to see this response here. So let's copy it here, fill our views.py, yes, and this is the time that some people got confused. To be able to run the tasks R, you need to be on the same level of the beginning of the project, where you're gonna see on the same level the pyport.toml. So at this level, you can run task.r, and anyone knows what's gonna happen here? Okay, let's see what's gonna get. Okay, we got an error. The task not available. Let's see what's going on. So the tasks are defined inside the PyProject dot here. Oh, okay, I don't have it here. So I will go back to the repository, go back to the version where I have the branches and the tutorial complete branch. In here, I will go to the pyproject.toml, and here we have the R. So there are two ways that we can do it here. We can use this command. So if the name of the file is pyproject.toml is in the root folder of the project. But to be able to see it, you need to be on this branch that's called tutorial complete. We're gonna need, but I would like to see the error first, and so we start to fix the error, because that's things that people usually see and they don't know how to fix, and we are going to fix it together. So I will just copy this whole line, go to my pyproject.toml, and I write it here. And now if I go back to my terminal, I'm gonna try task R again. It gives us a lot of errors. And we got these errors because we don't have the dependencies installed. We don't have the virtual environment created. So we're gonna create the virtual environment now. And with that, install the dependencies. So I will use here Python -m venv. I'll create the same name again, my venv. It should be good. Are we all on the same page? Everyone saw this error? Okay. So if you are inside two environments, yeah, no worries. We can use deactivate. You're gonna leave the environment. So if you are inside two, you can use it twice and leave it both environments. The command name is deactivate. Okay. So I have the folder here. To activate the environment, I'm gonna use source my_VM inside the bin folder activate. So I will activate the environment. There is one more thing that's missing in this branch. That's our requirements.txt. So we can go back here to the repository where we have the tutorial complete, and we can go here to the requirements.txt. We can copy the whole content of this file that have our dependencies. We are going back to our project, and on the same level that we have the pyproject.toml, we're gonna have not a Python file, sorry, the file called requirements.txt. Okay, with this here, we can go back to our terminal, and we can pip install -r requirements.txt. With that, we're gonna be able to install. Remember that people that are using Python version that's 3.9 need to go in the file, and let's look here for the Django version. Change the Django version to 4, and the Django Rest Framework version to 3.13, sorry, 3.13. So I will install the dependencies here. All good. Now that we are in the virtual environment and we have the dependencies installed, I'm gonna try to run the API again. I have a typo, that's right. So here it's trying to import HTTP. So if I go back, where's the file? Probably my view. Inside the music app, the views.py, it have a D here. I need to remove, so now it's all right. And I have my API running for the first time. I'll make it a bit bigger. And this is the first point where we can see the API working. Good. Let's go for the next step. Yes? Okay. Can you show me your views.py?
Project. I can figure that out. I got conflicts.
You have a Git conflict.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I'll get that work. I'll get that work. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Okay. Should I move forward? Yes? Yes?
Cannot find test follow.
Okay. Can you show me your pyproject.toml file?
Which one? Sorry for that.
The name of the file is pyproject. Yes, just close this folder here.
Okay.
No, close the in the arrow. And close the mynv as well.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Close it. Yeah.
Yes. Go. Yeah. Pyproject.toml. This one. If you go to the end of the file.
End of the file.
Yeah. So this is missing.
Oh.
The tasks are task. So
what should I do here?
I will show you on the screen.
Yeah, please.
So you can go to the GitHub repository. On the top left, there is you can change the branch. And on the branch, there is a branch called tutorial complete. This branch here. And if you go in the Py project here, at the end of the file, you're gonna find this task. So we just copy it and put it on your pyproject.toml. So this will enable the R function, R task actually. Okay. Moving on the API. Now we're gonna go to the serializer that will be able to translate our models from Python objects to text. That's what our API gonna need. So the first one that we're gonna use is the artist serializer. This file doesn't exist in our music app, so you're gonna need to create this one. I will go back to PyCharm, create a new file, call it Serializers. Inside the music folder. So now my music folder has a serializers.py. Okay. Okay. We are going to create our first serializer. So I could just copy this, and I'm going to use this hyperlinked model serializer. That's the one that's gonna rely on the Django model and create all the views that we need. Sorry, that's gonna be later. But this will be able to create the update and the create functions that we're gonna need to change our models inside our APIs. So I just copied this. Sure. So the first line here, we are importing the serializers from the Django Rest Framework. Inside the code, we just call it Rest Framework. After this, on this line, we import the model that we're gonna use. So we are able to create our artist serializer class. We inherit it from the hyperlinked model serializer. This one is something that the DRF provides us. It's gonna rely on the model and gonna do something that we would have to do it manually. That's especially the create, how we're gonna create this artists and how it's gonna translate it as well. You're gonna have a better example with the album model. That's we're gonna have to do it by ourselves. This class has a meta class. This meta class is used to give information about this class itself. So the model that the hyperlinked model serializer is going to use need to be specified here is the artist, and the fields that we want to expose in our API needs to be inside this list. For our artist serializer, it's just going to be the name, because that's the only field that it has. So if I just copy it here, it should work. And here I have some explanation about what's going on. So the point one, here we import the serializer from the REST framework. We also import the model artist. We create the artist serializer based on the hyperlinked model serializer. And I keep explaining all the points that we have here. Okay, no worries. So now we're gonna do the ViewSet. The ViewSets are a set of views. For our case, it's going to cover 6 what Django Rest Framework calls actions. These are the ones that I was showing earlier. We can go on the model ViewSet serializer, and these are the actions that is responsible for the list, the retrieve, the create, the update, the partial update, and the destroy. When we use the model ViewSet, it creates all of this for us, instead of us have to building it one by one. Okay, so let's go to our views. Back to the tutorial here. Here gonna be very similar. So you're gonna have our model view sets. We need to define the query set. The query set is gonna be used to know what to list. So in this case, we're gonna list all artists, and the serializer class is going to be used to translate from text, that's going to be our JSON, to the model that we want, that's the artist serializer. The serializer has another responsibility as well. That's validate the data that we have coming to our API. Here again, I have a list of explanations of what we are doing here. So it's the CRUD plus the list, and it inherits from the model view set and all that stuff. And so I'll just copy it here and update our music/views.py. Okay, a few things that I will have to do here is this imports down here. So I need to import the ViewSets from REST Framework. I need to import the artist and the artist serializer. So just copy it here, and I will paste it here. Okay, so one last step is when we're gonna link our URL to our artist Viewset. So let's go. On our music/urls.py, we're gonna come here, and we need to link our artist Viewset. Yes? Okay. Okay, this may means that or you don't have these imports here. Yes, just the one, as you copy it here, it's gonna make these complaints that you are telling, and in the next block of code, you have the imports that's gonna fix this error. All good? Okay, now we're gonna link the Viewset that we created with the artist URL. And we're gonna go to our music/urls.py, and here we are. I need to do a few things. I need to create a router. This is something that Django Rest Framework provides, so you can link directly a Viewset to a Viewset direct to a URL, just like I'm doing here in the following line. So artist Viewset, that's gonna do the create, the delete, the list, all that stuff first, and we can register it in our router, and so include the router URLs. That's going to include our artist URLs here. Okay, so I will start with the router, and I go step by step so we can see the errors as well. So I will create the router here. It's going to complain that the router is not defined, so it cannot find the reference. So I go back here and I find how to import the router. That's like this. So if I put it here, it's gonna fix this error. All good. So I will come here and import my Viewset. I will do the other way around so we can see the error. So I will try to register the Viewset to the router using this URL. It's gonna complain because the artist Viewset is not imported. So I will go back here and import the artist Viewset. For me, my code, it shows the red line here. Yes, this here. Okay, what the default means? Okay. In our case, the default router gonna create the router that the routers that we wanna use for the artist, but there are a few other routers from the DRF. And let me go here to the documentation. So this is the default router, and there is a simple router. The default one gonna create URLs in this way. So we're gonna have the prefix, that's in our case is artist, plus, so we'll be able to create the list, the create, the retrieve, the update. This is what the default router is doing for us. It's creating all the URLs that we need. So you're gonna have the Viewset with all the methods, and the router gonna create all the URLs that we need for this Viewset. So now it's saying that it's missing or doesn't know where to import the artist Viewset. So if I go here, back to the tutorial, I will import it from the views file. There is one thing here that is the dot on the front just means that it's import this file here, the urls.py, are on the same folder as the views.py. So it knows that the views.py inside the same folder, and inside this file, there's the artist Viewset. So this part is good, and now we need to include it in the URL patterns. Okay, so we just come here, we get our router, say that we want to include its URLs, and yes, I need to add the import for the include function. That's gonna be right here. It's also in here, so you can just copy it if you want. But it's gonna be a Django import. Since both of these are starting from the index, I will just comment this one, so it should work. And this should be enough for us to see our first API using DRF. But first we're gonna get a few errors before we get there. So if I come back here and I try to see my URL, whoa, it's already working. Let me see one thing. Maybe we get an error later. Oh, I stopped at the server. Let me run it again. Okay. Now we got the error because there is no such a table as music underscore artist. It's gonna work for the first screen, that's the index, but if you try to go in, it's gonna say that there is no table for the music artist. And usually the models that we have in our application are directly related to a table in the database. And how Django manages it, we're gonna need to come here, and create the migration. So we are going to go inside the first API. Let me stop the server here. I'm inside the first API folder. I will use the /manage.py migrations. When I run this command, pay attention that here inside the migrations folder, there was nothing. And after I run this, it's gonna create the migrations for me. So it created this migration that creates the album model, the artist model, and the song model in the database. But this doesn't run the migration itself. Give me a step back. what is the migration? The migration usually means a change in your database structure. In our case, we are going to create a few tables. And if we go to the code and open this new file that's just created, it's all the things are described here. So the migration is going to create a model. The name of the model is going to be album. These are the fields, and these are the type of the fields. This first one is going to be the primary key. The ID should be auto-generated, and all that stuff. Same for the artist and for the song model. After we create this file, we need to run the migration. So similarly to what we did for manage.py make migrations, we're going to run the migrate. Okay, all good. And when we run our application again, oops, now I forgot one thing that's important. I need to leave the second first API folder and run the test.run. So if I go here, I should leave, go back. So I run the task R. Okay, it's run. That's good. And now, if we try to list the artist, it should be good. Let I pick someone here. What's your name? X-E-N-I-Y. Okay, that's our artist for now. So we can use the post here, and it should have our artist here. So this is the beginning of our API. We can create, we can delete, we can update. Yes? Yes, it's being stored in a SQL database, but by default, Django uses a in-file SQL database that's called SQLite. If we go back in our data structure, you're going to see this file here called db.sqlite3. This is our database right now. Okay, if we don't set anything, Django gonna use it as default. If you wanna see that working, you need to go back at the settings.py, and there is a part of the configuration here called databases, and here is where the SQLite is configured. Sorry, can you speak a bit louder? If you want to create settings from the scratch, usually you don't create settings from the scratch. You get what Django provides you, and you start to change. For example, if I would like to use a MySQL or a Postgres, for example, I would come here. Django has a few backends. So this is the SQLite one. We would use something like MySQL here. Let's see. Oh yeah, here are a few. So you could use Postgres, you could use MySQL, Oracle, SQLite. This other version of Postgres. So this is where you would change it.
But are you saying that like Django has a repository that you can go fork that have like all these base files already built for us? Like there's a lot already there that you started where you get these files.
Okay, that should come from the Django documentation itself. you're asking like, how do I know what are the possibilities that I have? Okay, so that would come from Django documentation itself. If we go here on Google and say Django database backends, so here are the options that it provides. These are the SQL options. It has libraries that enables different types of database. For example, if you want to use a database that's not SQL based like MongoDB, there is probably a library somewhere that you would have to install, and it would enable you to use Django with MongoDB. It's just the implementation of a new backend similar to the ones that we already have here. Yeah, here there's a link, I just saw it, that provides third-party integrations or other backends. So here there is a few that could be used as well. Here. Okay, when I run this command, it creates a migration. When I run this, is execute the migration. So
and you create this one, right?
yes, this one.
But this one are not creating for some reason.
It just doesn't create if the models file is not input. Because let's say that I want to change from title to name, and I run again. I will stop the server, and I run again the make migration. I need to go back. I left everything. It would create a new migration. Okay, let me take a look. 1 second.
I don't know why it doesn't work. I tried this, I tried all this things, but none of them does. So I tried this, and I tried this.
Okay.
See? It's like no installed app, it's label music, and it's like, if you do dir, you see clearly music is there.
Okay, but Django just knows the available apps from the settings file.
Oh.
And there is a part of it that's called installed apps. Let's see. And the music app should be listed there.
No, you are.
Oh, I see.
Okay, here
You just need to copy
we have the installed apps, and we don't have the music app here.
Okay, so what do I need to do? So I do.
Add one more line, music. Small, yeah.
That's it?
Yeah. Try to create the migrations again.
Do I need to write a comma at the end?
The comma is a is a good practice.
So you need this line for working with the task.
App label music.
So
let's see the folder.
Try project in your
App project.
Settings to my dashboard, I guess.
Yes, but
yes, this one.
These are number settings.
And right now, if you save and run,
in the editor.
yeah.
Django project. But this is not the project that I started, right? Is it?
It should be. So you go up.
What?
Go up.
Up?
Yeah, go up. You click on this. Click on this and scroll it up. Scroll down.
Okay, got you.
Yeah, so there's a migration down there. So if you scroll down, yeah. Scroll down.
Up.
Yeah.
Here?
Yeah. So it was yeah. No, that's not it. So you have to scroll up a little more. Scroll up. If you just scroll up, you see the API.
Okay, here we have the API.
No, there's the API within the API. So there are two files, API and the music.
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
so you want me to put...
It was missing in here, yes.
So what about the first API? So there's an API and then there's another one. Really?
Yeah, that's the pattern that Django uses.
So you have two APIs.
Yes, that's expected.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, here's the one that I was looking for.
Okay.
So let's try again.
Oh,
No change.
detected. Okay.
Can we check if the music API has the mod?
Scroll down. If you scroll down, you're going to see the...
Oh, there are,
yeah, so right there. Right there. Scroll, if you just scroll down a little, scroll down, just look right there. Music, yeah.
we have the migration.
Yeah.
Okay, no migration. What about the models? Your models are empty.
Yeah, exactly. How could that be?
That's something that I don't really understand why. But you could check. Okay, where do you here? So your models should have these are the models that you need to have.
Oh.
The artist model, the album model.
So how do I do that?
You can just copy
Copy
now
to where?
to the models.py file.
I see.
Here, this music models.py.
Okay, let's do model.py. So this model.py, okay.
Yes.
Okay, and then do I do the same thing for the other two classes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Exactly.
Okay, I must have missed that
So much
part.
abstraction.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
Yeah, exactly. This is the
I don't know how I missed that.
You're welcome.
So you should define all the things they're defined for you.
So
But if you need something more
got one
specific,
more left.
more
One more left to go.
customization, and
So
then
I'm
we
done.
need to change a little bit.
Now I'm
So,
done. So I have to rerun this.
Every
Yes.
time
Now when you
is the create,
make migrations.
the delete,
Wow.
and another
Yes.
one. I just
Well
forgot
done.
right now. So
Yeah, thank you so
even
much.
this is the
Let's move
default,
forward.
you are doing this for us. So you
There's a
know
few other
every
steps
time
that you need
we
following up
create
this.
Yeah, I
a new
Uh,
path,
don't know
we
how
will
to
have
do
the
that.
view
Okay.
or you have the create. And then you create for us. You don't need to create the same things every time.
And when you say view, it comes here. That view has to be defined. So each separate query has to be so.
Yeah.
Okay, where was I? Okay, the migration is done. Let's see how is our application. Okay, the server is not running. Let me see where am I. Okay.
How did this happen? Now I'm getting done.
This is the full Django page when you are able to run your application.
Okay.
But looks like that your urls.py, it is not set yet. If you go back to the
Yes.
tutorial,
Yes. Go back to the tutorial. Yes. Okay.
This part here
Oh.
looks like it's missing because once you set it, that page should change.
Okay, so how to go to the URL.
But you need to go up first because
Oh, sorry.
you need the other stuff that comes like create the Viewset, import the serializer, the model. You need to go like all this stuff in between to get to the right stage as you'll be able to see there.
I think I had these. I think I did. If I just go to like
Look at your urls.py inside music.
the music and then here's views. Yeah, I do have those.
Okay. Look at the urls.py.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your.py looks correct.
Looks. Okay, no. Go back to your editor. There is one urls.py inside the music app, and there is another urls.py inside the first API folder. Go a bit up.
Yep.
This one.
Oh, okay.
Okay, this is missing. So if you go back to the tutorial,
Yes. If I go back to the tutorial, what's
this is the urls.py inside music. If you go a bit up,
Yep.
keep going up.
Yep.
More up.
More
Yes,
up.
this one. Go a bit
Up.
Yes, this one.
Oh.
This part here, this line.
Ah.
Yeah, you need to include this line on your.
Oh my god, this is so complicated.
Yeah.
It's like there's so many details you have to like pay attention.
Yeah. Now it's complaining that needs the include.
Okay.
Just beside the path,
Yeah.
you put a comma and you import the include function.
Okay, got it.
Yes. So try to run again, see what you get. Whoa.
Oh my god.
But then again.
So here I just so what you did was you did something after this.
No, yes. I click it here at the artist.
Okay, click on artist. Okay.
Okay. This means that you need to run the migration. Create the model without either the fields which has been deprecated. Is not allowed in specific fields. Okay. Take a look at your artist serializer.
Yep, so serializers.
Serializers.
Yes.
It has the name, it has the artist. It should be good. Create your model serializer at either the fields. Oh, I know. He is written field in singular.
Oh.
It should be plural.
Ah.
Take a look again.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, so what do I
Here you can create an artist and let's
Yeah,
put your name.
I just create myself.
Okay.
Yeah, post.
Yeah, it
Wow.
worked.
Wow. Is there like anything else we can do here, like besides that?
Right now, don't. You can create, you can delete, you can use different ways, but that's what you get for now.
Oh, cool. Thank you so much.
Okay. Tô cansado. Okay. So now that we have the artist working, okay. Now that we have the artist working, we're gonna go for the album, and I just want to give make a checkpoint here. We have 20 minutes left, and you can follow the tutorial from now by yourselves, but I'd like to know if you want to keep going and use the time that we have until the end, or you want to stop here and talk about questions that you may have or other stuff that you want to know. Okay, if you want to continue going through the tutorial as we are doing right now, raise your hand. Okay. if you if you prefer to go for the questions and for the wrap up, raise your hand. Okay, I'll make half and a half. We go for more 10 minutes, and when we are about 10 minutes to the end, we stop and we go through the questions, okay? Okay, this is the part that is a bit simpler, and this was my plan was to reach this part just after the break, but I had to change the plans. So now we're gonna go to the album, and we're gonna go the other way around. First, we started to add the models, we create the serializer, we created the Viewset, and so we attached the Viewset to the URL. Now we're gonna go the other way around. We're gonna create the URL, we're gonna put the Viewset there, but the Viewset will not be ready, so you're gonna get an error. And we're gonna create a Viewset, and the Viewset gonna need a few things that you're gonna create, and so on. We're gonna be like basically driven by the errors that we get in the path, okay? So starting in the music.urls.py, we need this new line here that's gonna register the album with the album Viewset. So we can just copy this line to register what we're gonna be the album.serializer. Sorry, the album Viewset. And it's here. We just need to add the router album serializer. So it's red here because it's not able to find the reference for the album Viewset because we didn't create it yet. So let's go and create it. We need to say that we're gonna import from here, from the album Viewset serializer. Oh, sorry, album Viewsets, just Viewset. And it still says that it's not able to find the reference, but now I can, for example, click on this button and create a Viewset, but I can just copy the name, go to my views.py, I will write it below my artist Viewset, and I'm gonna create it. So this is gonna be a class. I will inherit this time just from the Viewset, so Viewset dot Viewset. That's it for now. This will make our error gone in the urls.py because even that's not what it's supposed to be, it's able to import and it's gonna find it. Okay? Let's move forward. Let's create our Viewset. Just like our model Viewset, it needs the query set and the serializer class. We already have the model here, so that part gonna be fine, but we don't have the album serializer yet. So if we just copy these two lines, I will go to my album Viewset, I'll fill it with the query set that I wanna use, and the album serializer. It's complaining, like in red here, that it's not able to find the reference to album. But at least in my IDE, it also suggests that I could import the album from music.models. If I go at the beginning of my file, I have here the artist being imported from the music.models. So I'll put a comma and I will import album for now. So this fixed the first error, and we don't have the album serializer yet. So we're gonna go and we are going to create. But to be able to create on the right place, I will put here that I want it to live inside my serializers.py. So the album serializer Okay, so there's went from down here to up here, and I can go to my serializers.py, and now we go again. We create a class, we create the album serializer. In the tutorial here, I'm gonna make a small change so we can have enough time for other stuff. In the example that I have here, in the Viewset, I start to fill all the information that we're gonna have here. Oops. So the list, the create, and I start to put all the content that we're gonna need on these functions. And for the serializer, I use this serializer here, that's the plain one, where I need to, for each field in my serializer, I need to specify what is the field that my serializer gonna use. So a char field. For the artist, that's a bit more complex. I'm gonna use another serializer. And one interesting point here is that a serializer can be used as a field here. So the artist is gonna be a field, and how this serializer gonna know how to translate it from text to Python objects, gonna use this other serializer here, so we can use it internally. Does it make sense?
When you say fields, you mean fields on the database?
Yes, also. We have the field on the database, but for example, when we were running the API, we have this field here that was the name. So it is a field in the formulary, on the form, but it also represents a field in the database. Yeah, we are kind of linked. Which field? Artist. So I would say that artist is a complex field because it's not just a char or an integer. It is a structure that inside it has a name, has an internal field that's called name, and this internal field that's name is a char field. So let me show it here. Let me copy what I have here so I can write down pseudocode that I can show you here. Here, let's copy it here. Okay, here we have the artist serializer used here as a field for the artist. What it means is something like this. So I would have to put all of this inside here, and it would be something like this. It's not real code, but that's what it's trying to mean. So this field that's the artist gonna be represented by the other serializer. So this is gonna be a structure that's gonna have inside it the name. And this is how the Django Rest Framework allows us to do this. So we get this serializer here, and we put it here, and we are good. Here, instead of use a plain serializer, I'm gonna change what we have in the tutorial, so we save some time, and I'm gonna use the hyperlinked model serializer. And when we use the hyperlinked model serializer, we can remove this, but we need to point which model it's going to use. And here it's going to use the album model. It's gonna say here that cannot find it, but up here we can import it from the music.models. Okay, so we are good here. here. This is a point that I'd like to stress a bit, because when we did the artist Viewset, we didn't have to create any of the other what DRF gonna call actions. That's gonna be the views responsible for create, delete, list, update the object. So if we go back here to the tutorial, the step before, we have all these fields that in order to make it work, we need to implement them. Since we are not using the model serializer that does all of this for us, we need to implement by ourselves. So I will start with the list one. And it usually has always the same structure. There are two types of views in this case. The ones that about the whole set, for example, list me all the artists. I don't need an ID for that. But if I want to see a single artist, or I want to delete, I need to point which artist I want to delete. If I want to update, I need to point the artist I want to update. This is going to be reflected in the function signature for our actions here. So for the list, we don't need an ID. So the signature is going to be just self and the request. For things that we need to get a specific artist, sorry, in this case we are talking about album. So in the case that we wanted to retrieve a specific album, we need to provide the primary key. That's what PK gonna stand for here. And we're gonna do it for each of the methods. To delete, to do a partial update, to do a complete update, and this way we go. And the implementation for each of these methods are below here. And I keep putting the points and what is happening on each line here. For the create, for the retrieve, for the update, for the partial update, to the destroy. And so from here, we go to the serializer. The serializer so needs to have a few other chains. For example, know how to create an object and how to update an object. And at this point, we get the album set, but compared to the artist, it gives us much more work to do by ourselves. And this is where we get the advantage of Django Rest Framework, and when we use things based on the models that we already have. I'll make a stop here, as I promised, and I can take the questions from now on, and after that we can wrap up. Okay?
Right, so if we were wanted to define our, I guess, data model or whatever off of an existing database, do we just basically model after the structure, or what if the structure isn't something that easily maps to this kind of format we've seen? Are there other tools we can use within Django?
I will talk about this. 1 second. So you're talking about a scenario where you already have a database, and you want to build an application on top of it to be able to pull the data and manage the data. Okay. Most of the time, the Django applications gonna build it from the ground. You're not going to see an application that uses Django. They're gonna pick a specific or random database and build on top of it. You can, but it's harder because Django has a pattern for the tables. Usually it is the name of the app plus the name of the model. In our cases here, it's gonna be music underscore artist or music underscore album. And you would need to change the way that Django already does this to map to whatever we have in your database. And for the fields, you would have to do the same. You need to create your models with the names that you have on your database, and that's usually not seen. What people really do is they start everything from the scratch. If they have a database out there, they're gonna create something to pull the information from the database, treat it, and put it in the Django database.
Thank you.
I just got an error. But no such table exists for each artist, album, and song, and I'm just wondering at what point those would have been populated.
This usually, if the table is not created, it means that there is at least one problem with the migration.
Okay, the migration step.
So
okay.
If I go here, the migration file, this 0001, is where it says how it's going to create the migrations. Even if you have this file, but you didn't run the migrate task, you are not going to create the tables in the database.
Okay. Thanks.
More questions?
Just curious, why do we create a custom ViewSet model for the album? Like, what changed? Maybe I'm missing that part.
I just wanted to show a different way.
Oh, okay.
Because not always we're gonna be able to use the model ViewSet, the model serializer. So I want you to see one way to do this.
Got it.
And as you understand one way, you're going to see different ways to do the same thing and are different paths to get to the same point.
Got it. But it's like it's almost the base ViewSet, right? It's almost the same functionality.
Yes, the functionality is the same, but
Okay.
you're going a bit deeper because you understand how it works behind the scenes.
Yeah, thank you.
There was a third way that I wanted to show that's even more work for whoever is doing it, but I didn't have enough time, so I just chose to go in a simpler path.
If we wanted to extend our knowledge based on what we learned today, do you have recommendations or within your own repositories? I saw you have like a lot, like 100 repositories. I didn't know if you wanted us to direct us in any way.
I would direct you to the DRF documentation, but at the same time that I find it a bit hard, that's why one of the motives why I start to do this tutorial. I wanted to have something that's easy, that I can just follow, but at the same time could go back to the reference that is the DRF documentation. So a few times during this second part, I went to the original version of it, and I feel that I was really inspired by this because if I go to the DRF documentation itself, it have two tutorials. One that's this quick start that you put everything in one file and you get it working. And we have the second part that they are like step by step, just like we are doing. And after this, you can go straight to API guide, where you're gonna see there was a person that asked, what does the default router does? What are the other options of routers that we have? You could go here, and you could see that there is a simple router, a default router. You can create your custom router. At the end of the tutorial, I left a few deep dive points. that is here. So here are three different types of serializers that could be used. So the plain one, the hyperlinked one, both we use it, and there is this one that we didn't use. So this is something that you can use the knowledge that you got here and expand and understand. Okay, I have these two scenarios that I can use these two type of serializers, but what about this one? And you can go here. There is another part that's the type of fields. There is a few types that are more like raw, like Boolean, string, numbers, date and time. But there are also types that are more complex, like we are dealing with the artist or in the song. If we go to the models, oops. The song depends not just on the artist, but also on the album. How would that serializer look like? That's something that we could exercise as well. There is validations. You can create custom validations for, let's say that you cannot have an album on the same year with the same name. By default, DRF is not going to do that for you. So you can create a custom validator, and that's going to be part of your serializer. So it's going to translate to verify if it's a valid resource like an album. You could check that, and if not matching your criteria, you send it back, say that there is an error. You can go on routers, on ViewSets, and the browserable API that Amanda showed as well. And this is a few points that I put as bonus content and serializers, sorry, and deep dive. It's wrong, it should just be deep dive. But these are a few points that from here you can go. But after here, I would recommend you to go to the Django Rest Framework Django Rest Framework documentation. Okay, our time is up. I just would like to say thank you for everyone that come with me in this very tiring journey. It's a lot to learn. It's a lot of things to share, and there is a lot of problems in this tutorial that I'm gonna fix, but I'm happy with what we got today. Thank you.